My name is Steve Smith. This is TQA Weekly. If ever you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or leave a message down below on YouTube. And of course, this week's topic is about the war on advertisements and advertisement blockers. But we're going to be starting with the rise, the birth, the rise, and the eventual war on advertisements and software designed to block them and block the advertisement software blockers. Yeah, that's going to be complicated, but I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible, despite the fact that this is a somewhat controversial topic, because you got a bunch of freeloaders in one place and a bunch of content creators on the other. So let's talk about the beginning of the internet first. So when HTML 1.0 was the thing and internet was the only place you could buy a domain name for $75 per year, and of course you have to pay for your hosting and all the applications, your computers, and any access to anything else, you had two choices. You had to either create a very hard system where you charged people by credit card to actually be able to use your service, or you used advertisement referral. Basically ads that you have to click on or have the person sell the product in order to make any money from them. And this is where a lot of the ads comes into play, because that's basically the origin of the ad on the internet anyway. And it's a banner ad. And if it was correctly positioned, it was basically impossible to see it, because you would just go through the page and you eventually became blind to them, because they were not even dynamic ads. They were static. They were always the same ad. And that is how the internet basically started. You had static ads. Eventually you had advertisement companies, kind of like AdSense, that actually allowed you to have multiple different types of ads rotating in place. It's not a very easy thing to do, but it is definitely possible even at that time. And that kind of ad kind of generates monetization, but people already becoming blind to ads on the internet anyway, so you're not generating any content. So the first trick out of the box was the pop-up ad, and we ended up creating pop-up blockers because of that. And for these websites, they came up with other different ways of trying to force the ad to pop up anyway. And each time they find a new trick, the pop-up blockers updated and they blocked that new trick. So what ended up happening is the internet decided to create other things, such as animated or Java and Flash bound advertisements. And we'll get into them into a little bit, because a little later on we also had audio and video ads at the same time, which we all know to be very annoying. And by the way, all related to a very small subsect of the internet, what we call the adult wars and torrenting part of the internet. So a lot of the underbelly websites are actually responsible for the kind of content that you would see in these kinds of ads, and the reason why AdBlock and AdBlock Plus currently exist to this day. So what ends up happening is you start getting all of this. The Juarez or illicit, malicious part of the internet starts developing code to leverage advertisement campaigns, especially leverage those that allowed Java and Flash to be a thing. And then you ended up getting computers infected even outside of these nefarious places on the internet. And then the AdBlock and AdBlock Plus user base actually starts to explode, to the point where in the last 2 years, the majority of people are starting to even just download them because somebody else said to download them and use them, which causes a lot of content providers, including YouTube, to actually start fighting back against this trend by creating code, which, by the way, is very interesting. Code in websites capable of detecting the fact that various parts of the websites are not being loaded at all. So that actually causes the website to appear blank or to have a message saying, please add us to an exclusion list. And I like the way YouTube did it. The advertisement that you could skip is no longer skippable. Yeah. Anyway, this is where it basically comes to today. We now have a war of what's going to happen. And here's the thing. I would like for you to explain to me what you think by using the like or dislike button in the comments down below. And I read them all, by the way. Until the day that I have so many that I can't read them all, I read them all. So first of all, is the ad block the only way that you think is going to be useful? Because there are a lot of programs, especially with Adblock Plus, that allow for websites, smaller websites, to actually submit themselves per page scenario anyway, that allows them allows for their ads to actually show up if they meet specific guidelines. So are you okay with the specific guidelines way of doing things, where specific websites are put into a whitelist where they don't annoy you because they don't have audio or video and the ads are not very annoying? Or do you want to block all the ads? Do you want to use micropayments, or do you want the membership subscription model of websites to be a thing? Does it bother you to pay that also? Because that's kind of why there's ads. It's the membership subscription model. It doesn't really always work, especially on websites you use once. So what do you want to do on the internet to continue allowing content creators to make content so that we can continue giving you dislike, like I said before, subscribe if you haven't already done so. You can go to patreon.com/TQA Weekly to flip me $1 or more per week so I continue bringing you this show. And of course, have a great day and goodbye.